have. And we're into Champ Select here.
Yeah, it'll be really interesting to see what they do decide to go with for the bans. I think they're going to be a very important, and the first ban actually coming out is Jace. Then a target ban on the purple team there. I guess they did not want to see that brand again. He did a great job at bursting people down that last game, had some great pyroclasms. There's a typical Blitzcrank ban. I'm sure we'll see the typical Diddley ban as well. But the last two bans are going to be really important here. So they're probably planning on leaving Caitlyn open for the blue team. They play a really good Caitlyn, but it's not like you can't play another AD carry to the same level as Caitlyn. It's not like she offers something really huge to the team like an Ashe would, or something where, you know, she's a right-click champion. You know, the auto attack's the most important part. There's that Jarvan ban I wanted to see. And we'll see if the AD carries, what they actually end up going with for AD carries. I do expect to see the Caitlyn pick up from purple team if it is open, and the last ban is Anivia.
Oh, wow. That's very interesting because I thought Caitlyn would surely get banned as a target ban for You Mad Bro I'm Nasty, because Caitlyn, it's as you said, you could bring in other AD carries, but what I think Caitlyn offers is her range, because she's notorious for that. And the one thing you want in an ARAM tournament is range, because if you can poke people down for free, that's excellent, because there's almost no sustain except for one person usually on the opposite team. And you want as much free poke as possible, because once you head into those hard engagements, you want them to be as low and as weak as they can possibly be, so you can come out on top in that team fight.
Yeah, so they're actually going to go with a Mumu pickup first. There's that Caitlyn. The Soraka being very popular as a support. She, you know, really good at helping your AD carry stay alive, giving a lot of armor to them, because there aren't a lot of dive champions that are the AP ones being played. We've only seen just a Katarina is the only thing that's been diveable to get to that back line. So having a Soraka heal, boosting that armor for the Caitlyn there, and we'll see if they actually lock in that as one of the first picks. But it is now, it's going to switch to the Fiddlesticks, which we've seen be very successful in this tournament so far. And I think he's one of the few champions that still has a 100% win ratio.
Yeah, and Glamourio's trying to pick up You Mad Bro I'm Nasty's Caitlyn, and he does pick it up, along with the Lux, which we've seen has been like notoriously good. The past couple games, she hasn't made that much of an impact on the game's success. Not like yesterday, where every single time she was picked, that team won. She was a must ban, and now we see that she's not really banned that much. She gets picked, and we see Costo picking up Misfortune for You Mad Bro I'm Nasty, and that Malphite being picked up, so that the blue team, which would be, I believe the blue team is... What would the blue team be? They Call Us Never? I'm not sure.
No, They Call Us Never is the other team. That's
no, yes. I'm sorry, yes.
The team.
Yeah, I'm getting my names picked up. This isn't good. So the Hyper Neko Rangers have picked up the Malphite in order to stop the They Call Us Never from interrupting that Misfortune bullet time, which we've seen that totally decimates everybody on the opposite team. It does so much damage. Even without Black Cleaver, it does an amazing amount of damage, and it turns team fights if it's not focused down.
Yeah, and the Malphite ultimate in combination with a Bullet Time or Crow Storm is a really great engagement, and I think that the Caitlyn should definitely think about picking up Cleanse. I mean, they haven't obviously solidified their summoners or switched their champions yet, so it might be played on a different champion there. I'm pretty sure Vichy Bush will definitely stay on that Lux, because very successful last game on that Lux, and maybe a Rise pickup at the very end here, creating a very strong front line with the Maokai, Amumu, and if they pick up this Rise, being very tanky up in the front there, but they might go for a higher damage and poke build with that Cassiopeia, so see what they end up routing out with, and it is going to be the Cassiopeia.
Yeah, Cassiopeia would be an excellent pick for a Malphite engagement, because once Malphite engages, everybody's going to be running to you immediately, and that's when you pop the Cassiopeia. The Cryptic Gaze just completely stops everybody in its path, and it gives Maokai time to lay down his ult, gives Lux time to lay down her Lucent Singularity, and completely decimate team fights, along with a Mumu who follows up with that and completely petrifies everybody. And we see the Kale being picked up. So even if all that happens, the intervention is going to come out for Misfortune, and she's going to live through all that. Plus the Soraka heals, the Summoner heal, Fiddlesticks, I'm sorry, is going to go in with his Crow Storm on top of intervention also. And it's just so many uses for that ultimate. And these teams are just so stacked up, and I am ready to see some fighting.
Yeah, we've actually seen that same combination before with the Fiddlesticks and the Kale. And even before Fiddlesticks gets a Zhonya's Hourglass, he can get in there with the Kale intervention. He'll ult in, Kale will grab him the intervention, and then if he has the Zhonya's on top of that, he can be invulnerable to damage for his entire ultimate. And at the same time, if he gets in there, gets his fear and silence off, by the time he's done coming out of both of those invulnerabilities, he can use his cooldown once again, and that fear is very strong. We do see the Caitlyn, though, picking up the cleanse, a very smart move there, simply because one fear for 3 seconds can easily be the end of your life.
That's true. And I think I know why they picked Maokai for this engagement, because they want to get to Misfortune as soon as possible. And that targetable Twisted Advance is going to be an immense threat to Misfortune whenever she ults. That Twisted Advance has a great range for a 2.5 second snare, I believe. And it roots you to the ground and stops that ult immediately. So what they're going to want to do is they're going to want to engage with Maokai, follow in with the Mumu ult, and prohibit them from doing anything to their team, because they do not want Fiddlesticks to get that ult off. Because if Fiddlesticks gets that ult off, Kale's going to get that ult off, and it's just going to be a chain reaction, and they're going to lose that team fight.
Yeah, it's going to be very hit or miss, and it's going to be another one of those games where we see the ultimates and initiations really deciding the fight. A good ultimate and a good initiation is going to be able to tip the scales very harshly in one direction, whether it be blue team or purple team. Whether it is, a Fiddlesticks Crow Storm with an unstoppable force, or if it's a great, light binding into a bandage toss and an arcane smash from Maokai with a Cryptic Gaze. So Cryptic Gaze really makes Cassiopeia very hard to dive in on. And if Caitlyn is kind of paired up with Cassiopeia, she's going to have that additional stun to stop the Malphite from actually jumping in on the Caitlyn.
The one thing that I'm going to say is that Caitlyn needs to be really on point with those cleanses. Because that Malphite is running Exhaust, and he's going to be aiming for Caitlyn constantly. And she's going to have to choose whether to cleanse Fiddlesticks' Terrify, or cleanse the Exhaust, or cleanse Kale's Slow, depending on what situation she's in. And she needs to do that on point. If she misses or miscalculates one cleanse, it'll be over for her, because they can easily chain that Exhaust, that Terrify, that Slow together, and increase Caitlyn's chances of dying.
Yeah, and I'm not sure, but I assume that she's actually going to take the increased mastery with that cleanse, which reduces the amount of CC duration on you after you've used the initial cleanse. So if she does cleanse the fear and they try to hit her with a Reckoning or a Shard coming out of Malphite, it'll reduce the amount of time that she is slowed by both of those and hopefully get her back to safety. But about 15 seconds, we'll get in here and see how many cool skins we have. I'd love to see a surprise party Fiddlesticks, but I'm pretty sure they don't have one.
I'd love the surprise party Fiddlesticks. Just throwing balloons at everybody, it's just something satisfying about it. I love it. Just in popping in with balloons everywhere and confetti. It's just awesome.
Yeah, we'll see. Now I'm gonna get in there and spectate.
Yeah, I'm in. I'm gonna start getting in there and spectating as well. We'll see how good the skins are. Heading in right now. If my computer would load any faster, that'd be great.
And we are loading in. There are the skins, and we don't get any cool Fiddlesticks skin, unfortunately.
We do have a Sheriff Caitlyn, though, to compensate. I mean, come on. That is a pretty sexy skin, to be completely honest.
And Little Knight of Mumu, all of his skins obviously are adorable, so really can't hurt right there. And the Obsidian Malphite. I thought it was, I said it before, pretty cool skin, although he kind of runs with his arms flailing behind him for some reason, I'm not sure. But it looks like he's always trying to cross the finish line first. Like he's leaning forward with his face in his chest to get that, like the win in some type of road race.
Do you know which rider made the Emumu skin? Because whichever rider made the Emumu skin was extremely clever. That pun, it just drives me crazy sometimes. Whenever I see that skin, I just want to pull my hair out because that pun is just too crazy.
Yes, and we're just about to get in game. We have a Mumu. He is the last one loading up, and now I am into the game. I think I actually beat Nurse Flan here once again, just by a hair. And this is going to be our final matchup. The tournament has boiled down to these last two teams. See who gets to take home the win in bragging rights, along with a little bit of RP there. And the first Surrender at 20.net tournament, it's going to be a good one. We'll see who gets those crazy initiations, and we know that this is going to be an awesome matchup.
Yeah, we see people starting off with their items. We see you Mad Bro I'm Nasty immediately going for a Seeker's Arm Guard. Gonna try and finish that Zonia's, I believe. And we already see some poking going down, that Lucent Singularity doing a tiny bit of damage, but Soraka's already healing up with mana. I'm sorry, topping off mana. And we have the Double Doran's Rings, which is a standard start for Soraka in this tournament. Double Doran's Blades for Misfortune, a Gnasher's Tooth immediately with 3 pots for Kale, and a Chalice of Harmony, which is really good on Malphite, along with a Cloth Armor and about 5 pots.
Yep, not much else different coming down out of the starting. We didn't see a Seeker's Arm Guard from the other fiddles that we've seen start out, but they do start out with those Dark Winds harassing down. And the last couple of fiddles we've seen actually puts 2 points into the Dark Wind and 1 in Fear, not even bothering with Drain at level 3 and waiting till level 4 to grab a point in that, maxing that Dark Wind first for the silence and the harass that you can get on the entire team at once.
Yeah, that Drain needs to be extremely in an extremely small range for it to be effective. And in a level 3 fight, you're not going to be really using that Drain. You're going to want to use your multi-targeting, not AoE, but multi-targeting Silence with a high base damage. I just said earlier, you were talking about the base damage on that Dark Wind, and it's an immense amount of base damage. It's doing about 91 damage per strike, and that is a lot of damage because it bounces 5 times. And it deals a silence, so it's great. You're not going to be using Drain that much. You might be using it on some minions at most to heal yourself up, but that's about it, really. You're going to be wanting to max that Dark Wind.
Yeah, and there's not much sustain coming out from the blue team here. They really don't have anything to heal themselves other than Spell Vamp and Lifesteal, whereas they have the Drain from Fiddlesticks, they have a heal from Soraka, and a heal from Kale, and we see the Obsidian Malphite here taking a little bit of extra poke right there, probably a little more than he wanted to. He didn't have his passive Granite Shield up for the amount of that poke, so he's going to hang back until that comes back up, and it's almost taken away instantly by Lucent Singularity.
You immediately see that you Mad Bro I'm Nasty's strategy of placing Caitlyn traps all over around their outer tower is like completely zoning them out. You see that the first 2 traps here are completely blocking the choke point in between the turret and the wall, which is kind of forcing them out into one area, and that's that's exactly what blue team wants to do. They want to force them into that area, force them into all their poke, where we see that Miasma's being placed down right there next to the outer turret.
Yeah, and it's shocking to see them kind of walk towards that choke point again, and look at the damage they're putting on this tower. Blue team working the tower down to half health already. We're only 3 minutes 40 seconds in there, so if they keep this up by 6 or 7 minutes, they'll actually get the first tower around when people start hitting level 6. So let's see if the purple team can stop the bleeding there, because the tower push can definitely win the game. It's a lot of global gold, a lot of map advantage too, because if you get that tower down, even if you die so far up, your tower is safe for the duration until you're rezzed up and ready to fight again.
I think level 6 is actually going to bring out a ton of fighting. That engagement by Malphite is going to create so much opportunities. Mazat is going to be in there all the way with his unstoppable force, and then going in with the intervention with the Crow Storm, and it's from Fiddlesticks, and it's just going to be a mess of bloodthirsty fighting. It's just going to be amazing. Right now, they're getting poked down a lot, but as soon as they turn level 6, things are going to get nasty.
Yeah, let's just hope that they have enough HP, and they should with the sustain from the Kale, Soraka, and the Drain on there to keep themselves healthy. They only have one more level to go. Hold in their purple team, walking right into a Lux Binding, though. Maz out there taking a more harass. Kale getting up front, trying to clear these waves. They realize their tower's going down very fast, but at the same time, if they let that tower go down, you Mad Bro and Nasty can have a perfect bush to engage directly out of. He can charge up that Crow Storm, drop in onto them, and if you combine that with the Malphite ultimate, it might be a perfect place to start their first fight.
They're about to reach level 6 here. I'm pretty sure in a couple seconds all of them are going to be reaching level 6. And they're going to be looking for an engage. As soon as they start pushing that tower, as soon as they turn level 6, things are going to turn really, really bad. They Call Us Never is going to be looking for an engage almost immediately. And here goes the Drain onto Cassiopeia to kind of counteract that miasma and all that poke. And they're going to want to look for an engage, but they forced the flash out of Malphite.
Ooh, the first blood actually coming down from a Dark Wind on that Fiddlesticks, chasing down that Maokai at the very back of the fight there. Lux Laser coming down, a good barrier from the Fiddlesticks though, and they need to watch out now. He is level 6. They still have the Malphite ultimate up, and a good position right here with a good Kale intervention, and they can win a fight very easily. On top of that, they can lock out the bullet time, which just has... We've seen the crazy damage from bullet time. As long as the people stand in it, then they do a great job. Then MF will do a great job at spreading out the damage on the team and AoEing them down.
You see how Malphite's playing really aggressively. He wants to get in, and you saw how the pressure immediately went from They Call Us Never, from their turret all the way to the blue team's turret. It's just immense how the pressure just went down into Miradeers and Glomeries. They just went down onto them because Malphite would place such a big threat onto them. Once he hits level 6, that unstoppable force does so much to their team. It's just insane. I'm pretty sure they're going to be looking for an engage soon. They're playing kind of passively, letting them push up against their tower, but I'm not sure that's such a good idea at this point.
Yeah, the issue they have right now is Malphite doesn't have his flash up, so he can't flash engage like he'd like to. We do have the flash up on Fiddlesticks, but they're really just kind of hanging back, defending their turret here, but they need to do something to kind of stop the bleeding. They don't want to let the minions get to their tower anymore. They really need to push back against these minions and try to get the engage they've been looking for this whole game, because the sooner you use the ultimates and kind of wipe their team out with those ultimates, the sooner they'll be back up and the more damage you can do to them.
Mazzet's really wanting to look for that ultimate, but he can't do it because every time he needs to have that flash up in order to engage without letting Hyper Neko Rangers know what he's up to, because he needs to walk right up to them in order to engage on them, and that Lux Snare is going to stop them. That Cryptic Gaze, is going to stop him too. So he needs to make sure that he doesn't get poked out, because if he's low, that engage is going to work, and we see the engage onto Lux.
There he jumps in now. Lux going down very low. The counter engagement right there. Fiddlesticks flashing forward with the Crow Storm, trying to get onto the Vichy bus, but he will go down first. The laser coming out, landing on multiple targets right there. And now it's going to be a battle of AD carries as Soraka is going to turn tail and run, get that health relic. It's going to be a 2-for-1 exchange. Cassiopeia barely getting out by the skin of her teeth. She has almost died. Very close. Vichy bus was at the same point there, getting really, really low, but able to get that final spark off and keep everybody at bay.
We saw that great synergy with that intervention in the Crow Storm with Fiddlesticks. It may not have lasted for the intended period of the time, but it did create a great window of opportunity of damage for They Call Us Never. They would just jump in with that Crow Storm, and it landed so much damage. It ended up in a 2-for-2 engagement because that counter engage from Hyper Neko Rangers was so great, but still, it's an intense fight. It was an intense fight, and it still is. They're getting pushed back now. We'll see how that turns out in a couple minutes.
Yeah, they have a good job, and they have the right abilities they need to check the bushes. So Fiddlesticks really isn't able to set up in those bushes because they're getting spammed with saplings, with cupcakes, with loosened singularities. There they got the Malphite again. They're going to lock him down with another binding, doing a little bit more onto him. He did go back and get an Aegis. The Zonia's Hourglass being picked up onto the Fiddlesticks, so he'll have a little bit more invulnerability this time. And the items finally starting to come out a little bit here, but with only 2 kills for each team, that means only 4 people have gone back to buy. So there's a lot of gold sitting on some of these members here. I think the one in the lead right now is going to be the Cassiopeia at 3,600 gold. Actually, Caitlyn a little bit higher at 3,700.
That's true, and I think that Zonia's on Fiddlesticks is to kind of save Kale's intervention for some more needed moments, such as when the AD carry is getting engaged on. Costo isn't going to be scot-free forever. She's going to be standing in the back with bullet time, and someone is going to engage on her. So intervention doesn't always have to be wasted onto Fiddlesticks because Fiddlesticks has that Zonia's Hourglass to fall back on if the intervention isn't up or if the intervention could go to more use somewhere else.
Yeah, it'll definitely help if they can have the intervention on somebody who gets low in the fight or possibly somebody that gets engaged on. You know, if there's a really good binding and they want to save somebody, ooh, a flash coming out. Yep. Cass there, very worried about that. There's the Unstoppable Force right onto that Caitlyn, slowing him down. Maokai ultimate is down. The counter engagement from Amumu right there, but the Crow Storm coming up. The Zonia is coming down. The fear onto Caitlyn. She does get the cleanse out a little too late and is going to be the only one that goes down right here. But Amumu in a lot of trouble as Malphite is continuing to dive in on this one. And there's a Crow
the Dark
that's going to pick up the kill right there, bouncing towards the back of them. And it's going to be a 2 for O exchange, a 3 for O exchange. I don't know why she got so close right there, not thinking that the double up was going to be enough to drop her down. And now Purple Team is in the driver's seat. They're going to push up this wave and hopefully grab a lot of damage and maybe the first tower for them in this game.
If there's one thing you don't want to do is to go 1v1 versus the Fiddlesticks at that low HP. That drain does so much damage, and the Dark Wind goes back and bites Maokai. You don't want to get that close to Fiddlesticks. He does an insane amount of damage and has an immense sustain if you don't have him up, and Amumu picks up with that bandage.
Yeah, double kill coming out for Caitlyn. Cassiopeia picking up the kill onto Kale. Malphite very low, says I might as well just run in. A triple kill coming out from them right there. But they don't have all the minions pushing right now. They actually ran forward before the minions came up, so they have to tank this. They're going to get a good execute right there and push a wave, but for some reason they didn't go back to push all those purple caster minions that are hanging back there, and now they're realizing it, saying, oh, we just wasted a great engagement and a bunch of kills, and now we're not even going to get much damage on this tower.
Was that ace in the hole really necessary, though? I mean, come on, that's kind of overkill. He had like 50 HP left, and he was right in front of you. It's like a buckshot to the face. It's really overkill. Amumu going in with his bandage toss, but receiving some great counter poke. I think he might even go down.
Yeah, they're in a lot of trouble right now as they try to get back. Luckily, there is no unstoppable force from that Malphite to get in there and pick up that kill, but he's going to get the shard down on the Cassiopeia, see if Fiddlesticks can get a fear. No, a great Lux Binding, helping them disengage right there, and now they're pushing into blue right onto their tower. Crow Storm's not quite up yet. Bullet time is, so is unstoppable force, but in the next 10 to 15 seconds, we're going to have that Crow Storm and another big engagement from purple side.
We see Sanguine Blades being picked up on both AD carries here, and I'm pretty sure Caitlyn's going to be going for an Infinity Edge next. Miss Fortune's still having those Doran's Blades. I'm thinking she's going to be rushing a Phantom Dancer next, along with those Tier 2 boots. A Brunic Bulwark is actually being built on Malphite, which is already built. He has the Chalice of Harmony still. I'm not sure if he's going to be finishing that. Mana Manipulator still from early in the game. Lux has now built her Athene's Unholy Grail and her Morellonomicon, which is going to help against Fiddlesticks. Fiddlesticks' sustain is amazing, especially with his heal. So once he gets below 40% health, I believe that is the passive, yes it is, he's going to get Grievous Wounds, and those wounds will cause him to receive 50% less healing for the entirety of 4 seconds.
Yeah, and you can see Malphite kind of posturing around, looking for this engagement right here. He's looking to chase them down. Everybody's very scared of this Insidious Malphite right now. Nobody wants to get hit by that ultimate. They know that that's their hard engage, and that if they get hit by it, it's going to be followed up by the bullet time, intervention, and Crow Storm onslaught that we've already seen a couple times here. They're down by 1 kill, about even in gold. The towers are now even as the poke continues, and they are just scared of this Malphite. Look at how far back they are getting. They do not want to get hit by him.
Yeah, and most of the summoners are up as well, and all of the ultimates are. So we're going to be able to see a huge fight pretty soon. I'm thinking that Malphite is going to engage. I'm pretty sure Hyper Neko Rangers are going to be the ones that look for the counter engage. I don't think they want to engage. Oh, we see the Malphite that doesn't land on anybody. The Fiddlesticks goes down on the ultimate. The bullet time goes down, but doesn't do enough damage. The laser goes down and does not chunk people as far as she'd wanted to. Lux is getting engaged onto, but everybody decides to back off. They're getting pretty low. Malphite's still looking for that.
The Fiddlesticks ultimate was well placed there. Even though they didn't get the unstoppable force that they wanted, they still had Fiddlesticks in the middle of almost their entire team. They got Caitlyn down immediately. There was absolutely no wait to take her down. Fiddlesticks, though, look at him walking up, trying to get the fear in. Oh, not enough from the drain right there. Lux helping out Cassiopeia. So it's going to turn out to a 1v1 trade, and now Purple Team is going to retreat until they get more ultimates back to try to push back up again. See, Lux wasn't really touched that time. It was pretty much a 4v5 because of the damage that Caitlyn took immediately, but they didn't take down the Cassiopeia, they didn't take down the Lux, and that is a lot of ability power damage coming out. I think Malphite needs to get some MR. He needs to get an Abyssal Scepter or something like that. The laser beam coming across, almost taking out the Soraka, and now they're actually pushing a little bit of damage on this turret.
We saw that the Morellonomicon actually saved Cassiopeia's life because of that grievous wound that Lux used with her Lucent Singularity. Or, no, I'm sorry, her Light Binding. And that saved Cassiopeia's life because he was sitting, Fiddlesticks was sitting on the miasma of Cassiopeia, but that would not have been enough if it wasn't for the reduced healing from those grievous wounds.
Yep, and Fiddle jumping up there, dropping a fear, dropping a silence. And the best part about Fiddle is if you go up and initiate with that Dark Wind, they really can't do much against you because all of their spells are going to be silenced.
And I'm sorry, I just like to say something about that masterpiece of Yordle Snap Traps that Caitlyn has picked up in a perfect vertical line on my screen. I'm loving it. And the Malphite ult goes down.
A big ultimate right there from Malphite. He actually flashes back out, eats the laser, but a good bullet time coming across. The Amumu ultimate's going to go down, but they're trying to disengage as fast as they can. The Soraka and Malphite are going to go down very quickly right there. They didn't have a Crow Storm jumping into that fight. They really just need to utilize it right now. And if I was at Fiddle, I would have used it coming straight out of that bush into their team. They still have the intervention as well. So there would have been no way for them to kill them. They get the tower there, a bandage toss on the MF. She's really out of position, but there is the Fiddlesticks ultimate coming down. MF's barely staying alive. A double kill coming out for Kale.
Wow.
The Zonia's saving Fiddlesticks' life, but not saving MF's. And a triple kill coming out for Kale. They played that very well right there. And MF saying in game, I'm bad. Please report. I walked into that damage. But that is going to be a 1-for-4 trade on the back end of that fight. And Cassiopeia, you cannot forget about the fear and the shred and damage coming out of that Kale. You know, Kale's Reckoning has a 1-to-1 ability power ratio. Right now, his Reckoning is doing over 500 damage. And he's going to get the free execute, the free turret, and we have ourselves a very close game.
It looked like they never had lost that team fight, and then they saved that Crow Storm and intervention to clean up everybody afterwards. That was great play by them. That was a perfect play by them. They played that off so well. Props to them for that one.
Yeah, it looks like the Fiddlesticks wanted to die right there. He went back, finished his death cap, so now he's going to be rocking quite a bit of AP, along with the active from that Zonia's to continue to push these team fights. Both teams, open inhibitor. We are 19 minutes in. The kills are almost tied right now, along with the gold, only 300 gold apart. But they're getting a good amount of damage right now as this Caitlyn is just plunking down onto this inhibitor.
Yeah, we see that Kale has just finished her Nashor's Tooth. I mean, not her Nashor's Tooth. Haunted Guise for that extra 15 plus 15 magic penetration, which may not seem like a lot, but after she gets her Leandra's Torment, she's going to be doing so much damage with her Reckoning. That is going to do a ton of damage. We see that Seraph's Embrace has just been finished on Cassiopeia, along with, I think she's going to be going for a Zonia's afterwards. Because it looks like she's building a Seeker's Arm Guard. I'm not sure about that. We see that Amumu's building a Warden's Mail, which may turn into... Oh, wow.
Cassiopeia. Here's the Unstoppable Force, the exhaust going down into Caitlyn. Forced to cleanse
Malphite,
that,
what are you
but
doing?
Kale getting the slow as Malphite just kind of walks up. He's going to get rooted. They are in full disengage mode. There's the Shirelia's Reverie coming out. Malphite chasing them down. He just needs one more slow into the Caitlyn, but the Light Binding is going to save them right there. And they still have every ultimate up except for the Unstoppable Force. That all started from just a good fear out of Fiddlesticks, which created that fight because Cassiopeia was just a little too close and got hit by all of that CC. And right now, oh no, Zonia is coming out from Fiddlesticks. He will go down as he's trying to channel his ultimate. And now blue team pushing back, trying to get the kills here as Malphite is running away as fast as possible. And we have a reverse disengage. A good bandage toss right there from Amumu, going to help pick up 2 kills for them. The ace in the hole picking up a 3rd. And now purple team on the defensive as they pick up a 4-for-0 exchange on the back end of that fight.
This just goes back and forth. It's a giant seesaw. You see Bishop was playing those clutch light bindings, which are perfect for the disengage. Vicious has dominated that disengage potential. And Malphite tries, he really tries. I don't know what he was doing, just running up there. It was actually kind of funny to see Mazza just running up and just running up with them as if he was disengaging along with the Hyper Neko Rangers. But it just went back and forth. It was a giant seesaw, and I'm loving these plays from both teams. They're doing such a good job at engaging and disengaging, running back and running forwards, getting kills, getting out, and it's just playing amazingly into the hands of both teams. And we're gonna see whether this turns into a win or whether this just keeps going.
The key problem for They Call Us Never right there is that you mad bro was trying to channel his ultimate right in the middle of that team fight to get in there and then use his Zonias. But instead he died while channeling his ultimate, did not get his Zonias off, got his ultimate on cooldown, and in return did no damage versus the opposing team. If he had finished that ultimate, got his Zonias off, and then possible follow-up intervention, he would have been able to win that team fight for his team.
Yeah, in about 30 seconds, we're going to see all 5 ultimates coming out for They Call Us Never. So they're probably going to be looking for another engage here. All the summoners are up except for Malphite's Exhaust on They Call Us Never, and flashes and heals are being burnt down on the Hyper Neko Rangers. So I'm pretty sure that the They Call Us Never is going to be looking for a hard engage in order to get that final inhibitor, or that only inhibitor, and they want to get that now.
Yep, now that everything's up, it looks like Amumu's going in, trying to get an engagement here. Here comes the Fiddlesticks ultimate, flashing in there. The damage is coming out, bullet time, nuking everybody down along with that Fiddlesticks ultimate. And the disengage once again coming out from blue side. They are in a lot of trouble right now. We see the flash and slow coming down. Lux is going to be the target right here. See if we get a good silence from Soraka. We do get one on there. Vishabus is going to go down to Kale's Reckoning. And now it is a 3-person retreat as they try to get past their inhibitor right now. And purple team's going to be able to take out this inhibitor, possibly be able to dive the turrets here and finish out this game. We'll see. It's going to be very close. That's
true. They're not going to be able to protect this at all. They're going to need to back out of this immediately and head directly for the Nexus turrets. Caitlyn's back up now, but I don't think she has the damage to put down onto Malphite because that Soraka heal just does so much damage, and she just gets shredded. She just got shredded immediately, and this is going to be turning into a Nexus turret. The Lux laser comes out but gets no dice onto Malphite and Kale.
Oh, she missed her cooldowns and walked into the MF, who's doing a lot of damage with that double up. Kale ulting herself.
Is this going to be the game?
GG. I don't think that the Maokai can do much versus them. And what a great game we just saw for the finals. And your winners are going to be They Call Us Never. They've been very dominating this tournament. And once again, Fiddlesticks is on the winning team, and that is no surprise to me.
Right. They they just did so much damage. You Mad Bro I'm Nasty along with Coastal and Madzat just completely decimated all the team fights. Their engages and disengages were completely awesome. They just did amazing shred. Kale did so much damage onto every single team fight. Caitlyn got completely shredded in about 2 to 3 reckonings. It was just amazing.
Yeah, what an awesome, awesome game to end on. That is our champions right there. They call us never for the first Surrender at 20 tournament. Make sure you head over to surrenderat20.net. You're following them on Twitch and Twitter, and you're hooked up with their social networking so you can see when the next tournament is going to come out. And they'll easily fill up the 16 teams. I think they filled very quickly this last tournament, so it was very well received. We'll definitely see more tournaments. I am Skill Factory. Get at me on Twitter at SkillFactoryLOL. And if you want to see what I'm doing with Pentacast and the rest of my casting, you can catch us at pentacastlol.com. And I will leave it to you to take us out.
All right, so I've been Vanity Crisis. I want to send a giant congratulations to every single person that's been participating here. I want to send a great shout out to Flan for organizing this tournament. Boss Movie, awesome. Woops, Dr. Frank, Grim, Sarah Naya, everybody on the Surrender at 20 team. You guys have been awesome. Everybody that's been participating, and especially They Call Us Never for that beautiful game that I'm honored for watching. So thanks, guys. Thanks.